Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Kevin Redfern. A newly revived collegiate crosstown rivalry has begun in the Valley. GCU and ASU women's basketball played each other last night for the first time since 1994. The two teams played a close one at GCU Arena, but the Sun Devil women walked away with the victory, handing the Lopes their first loss of the season. The first meeting in 28 years did not disappoint, and the crowd came out in full force. GCU Arena had a record attendance for a women's basketball game with over 6,000 fans before tip-off.
We did do a home and home, so next year we'll travel down the road, probably for another. I mean, this is great. It's great competition for us. You know, we're right next door, and look what this did for women's basketball tonight. You know, I think this definitely progressed our sport, and I think it was an exciting brand of basketball that fans got to watch.
The Arizona Fall League is a place for many young minor and MLB players to get more reps. And as Cronkite News reporter Caleb Wiley explains, it's the perfect place for a player coming off a great season to add to his toolbox.
After a breakout season and being named Chicago Cubs Minor League Player of the Year, first baseman Matt Mervis, who plays for the Cubs AAA affiliate in Iowa, decided to hit the Arizona Fall League to try and add to his game.
Just get more at-bats, more reps, see more pitchers, particularly lefties. Just, you know, the more things thrown at me, the better. Just more experience, more in the memory bank.
Mervis took his time to pursue a professional career. After being drafted in the 39th round coming out of high school, he decided to play at Duke University as a two-way player, where he was a pitcher as well.
I pitched because I threw hard and I was able to play. Like you said, I was a two-way and I wasn't really getting at-bats. So, you know, pitching got me on the field, got me involved. But I've always known I'm a hitter.
During his last year as a Blue Devil, COVID struck, ending his season early. Mervis then signed as an undrafted free agent with Chicago. In his first year in Single A, Mervis struggled, posting a .204 average in 69 games. Just 2 years later, the first baseman had his breakout season, hitting .309 with 36 home runs and 119 RBIs in only 137 games.
It just shows that he doesn't really give up and he's a grinder, and you know, talent can come from anywhere. You don't have to be a first or second rounder. You can be, you know, like I said, talent comes from anywhere, and he just displays that really well.
Mervis finished Fall League action tied for first place in home runs with 6, and also drove in 12 runs in 17 games. The first baseman hopes his swing will land him a spot in the big league club next season. In Mesa, Caleb Wiley, Cronkite News.
The Cubs have not yet announced his call-up, but they are expected to at some point during the season next year. Women continue to fight for equality in the sporting world, and esports is no exception. Now, one Arizona school is helping to change the narrative. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Bender gives us a closer look at GCU's esports program and its diversity efforts.
GCU's esports program is a leader in diversity in the gaming world. And Purple Rain, their all-female tournament for Valorant, a popular first-person shooting game, is their most recent effort. Esports director Jay DeShong said they made the tournament to proactively fix a problem of equity.
When we kind of put the women's Valorant team together, we realized there wasn't a space for them to compete. So for us, it just like there is, or the team exists for us to create space for the women in our program, we're kind of creating the league with the same thing in mind.
But the tournament is just a stepping stone for GCU's larger plan of creating a more inclusive space for women in esports. Esports supervisor Marissa Rohr wants to close the gap between women and men gamers.
Going into a collegiate and professional space, there is a huge lack of equity between women and men gamers. Ideally, you know, we want to bridge that gap between women leagues and, you know, normal gameplay.
And to DeShong, the solution is highlighting the stories of women playing esports as role models for future gamers.
Really just being able to tell stories of those people to show our women, like, hey, you don't have to be anything. You can be who you are, you can come as you are, you don't have to worry about any stereotypes, just come as you are, and esports will accept you.
In the end, DeShong wants GCU to be the gold standard when it comes to women's esports leagues.
I know that if we do a good job with this, that Riot comes to us and say, hey, we want to do women's leagues. You guys have been doing women's leagues for the last 3 years. Here's a check to keep doing it with our name on it.
In Phoenix, Tyler Bender, Cronkite News.
Registration for Purple Rain will open next year in January, and the tournament will start in February. As women at GCU make waves in esports, 3 women at the World Cup are making their own history. Stephanie Frappart of France, Nusa Bak of Brazil, and Karen Diaz of Mexico make up the all-female referee team who oversaw the Costa Rica versus Germany match today. Frappart has made history before, becoming the first woman to oversee a men's European club match and the first to officiate a men's World Cup qualifier. There are 6 women in total officiating the World Cup this year. Germany defeated Costa Rica 4-2. One more note to pass along. Devin Booker was just named Western Conference Player of the Month after leading the Suns to a conference-best 15-6 record and scoring 51 points last night. Monty Williams was also named Western Conference Coach of the Month. The Suns will host the Rockets tomorrow night. That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Alexia.